YouTube channel. Today I'll be showing you how to ganache a cake to give you a nice smooth surface and a sharp edge. So to start off, I have my cake here. I'm using a 7-inch round cake and it's about 4 inches deep. I'm using a cake leveler, which is a wire, and I've measured it to 1 inch on the wire from the bottom, so that when I cut around using a sawing motion, I get 1 inch layers. Just go all the way through. And there's your first layer. So now we have our 3 layers of cake, and next what we're going to do is trim off the crusts. So how I do that is I use a 7-inch drum just as a guide, pop that underneath, get these out of the way, and using a sharp knife we're just going to trim about 1/4 of an inch in from the sides. So now I'm going to secure the bottom layer onto my board here. I'm using white chocolate ganache, which I've softened in the microwave, just so it's a nice thick, spreadable peanut butter consistency. And I'm just going to put a little bit onto my board here, and then place your cake in the center. Make sure that none of the edges of the cake come over the board. Now we're going to add in and layer our cake. You can do this with buttercream if you prefer. I'm just using ganache because that's what I have today. Onto the top there. Now you can make sure that it's level. So you can either do this with your eyes, if you bend down and have a look, or if you have a cake leveler, just place it onto the top and make sure the bubble's in the middle. That's especially useful when you're stacking cakes and you really want them to be level. So next, we're going to crumb coat the sides, and this is just literally using our ganache to lock in all the crumbs, so a thin layer all over your cake. as possible. There's no big lumps sticking out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to leave that to set. You can either pop it into a fridge if you're in a hurry, or if you have a bit of time, you could go and ganache another cake and leave this one until it's set, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now I'm happy that my ganache is set and is firm to touch. For the next few steps, you'll need to have your cake on a turntable. This will allow you to easily move your cake and scrape away any excess ganache. I'm going to be using a square drum bigger than my cake, which I've wrapped in cellophane, and I've just used sellotape at the back to secure so it can be easily removed later. I'm going to put a large dollop of softened ganache in the centre of my drum. And I'm going to spread it out till it's about an inch bigger than my cake. Don't be afraid to be over generous here, because any excess can be scraped away after. Make sure it's flat as possible. You can use your cake as a guide just to make sure, and add some more if you need. Once you're happy with that, that's nice and level, just going to lift up my cake with my hands and flip it over and place it in the centre. Make sure that your cake is level. You can use your eyes, or if you have a leveler, use a leveler. I'm just going to be using my eyes. And once you're happy that that's level, use your scraper to take away any excess around the sides. And just hold it flat on your board and scrape. And put it back into your bowl, you can use that again. And keep going around. Again, either in your fridge or you put it into your freezer if you want to speed things up. Okay, so now my ganache is set. The next step will be to fill the sides in with ganache. Again, be over generous because any excess can be removed. Just apply generous amounts the whole way around. If you're using the fridge or freezer to set your ganache, please keep in mind that the ganache is going to set quicker. So work fast. Making sure that it's flat on the board, I'm going to hold my scraper still against my board, my two boards, and using the turntable I'm going to turn the board and just keep going all the way around, making sure to hold your scraper flat on your board. going to fill in any gaps that I missed. Make sure you keep your ganache softened in the microwave. If it starts to firm up, just give it a few seconds in the microwave. That you filled in all the gaps, we're going to get our scraper and scrape away that excess again. And then we're just going to leave that set again. Now this will be the last time that it'll set, so make sure you leave it in for a bit longer this time. If you still have gaps, just keep filling them in with ganache and scraping away until you're happy that you have a nice smooth cake. I'm happy now with what I have, and I've let it set in the fridge or freezer until it's really nice and firm. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over my cake. And I'm going to use a scissors and cut away the sellotape. Be nice and gentle. And remove the board. Now we're going to gently peel away the cellophane. If your cellophane starts to take ganache with it, just pop it back into the fridge or freezer until it sets some more, and then peel it off, and it shouldn't take anything with it. Now, if there's any gaps on the top, I have one or two big ones here. Just take a little more ganache, just a small amount, and just fill in any more gaps. Leave that little bit up there to set for a little while. Now the final step is to hot knife your cake, and to do this you need a cup filled with boiling water and just a small flat palette knife, and just hold it in your cup for a few seconds. Tap off any excess and then just smooth your cake. This will give it a really nice smooth finish. And then just keep going until you're happy. And there it is, our beautifully ganache cake. This cake will give you the perfect surface for covering and fondant to give you a lovely smooth surface and a sharp edge. Thank you for watching my first YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please ask and I'll do my best to answer.